Right, welcome back to another episode of the Average Joe's Podcast. I'm your host, George, and I'm here with co-host of the Average Joe's Podcast, Harrison Roberts. You right?
Yeah, you're right, mate.
Yeah. We are joined today by a special guest, Sam. Welcome.
Chaps.
Welcome to the pod. We've kind of just like thrown you straight into this because a minute ago we was messing about and then Josh was like, right, we're going. So, we are good to go. So, like I just said to you a minute ago, I wanted to say this off the bat, right? So, I think through your life, you always start meeting people who are, one, going to be around for a long time, and two, are going to have a really positive influence on your life.
Yeah.
I only met you recently, and I can tell you're going to be one of those people. So,
Cheers,
I met somebody like this a few years ago. His name's Jake. Like, we've become really, really good friends. And he's one of those positive influences on my life, and I feel like you are going to be one of those people in
Thanks,
my life
mate.
as well. So that's the arse kissing that I said I was going to do.
And see.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
I've known him a couple of weeks. I've known him 10
Harry's just unfortunately been stuck with. I've been stuck with him for 10 years.
Okay.
Maybe more. So, but yeah, no. Harry is a positive influence on my life, other than when he ditched me for 3 years. But that's a story
We'll
for
go over
a
that
different
bit,
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you offered to obviously help me out in a time where I was expressing that, and you didn't know me from
No.
Adam. Do you know what I mean? You didn't know who I was.
Mutual friends.
You saw it, yeah. You saw a clip that I'd put on the podcast page, and you reached out to me and you wanted to help me, so you could
Yeah.
see that I needed help, and it was something I was struggling with. So I think that's really admirable, and what I would like to get to know is where that comes from. What makes you the person that you are?
It's a good question, mate, to be fair. Straight off the bat, lads.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, I guess sometimes you always look for positive influences like in your life. I always think sometimes like you see all these inspirational people, they've got mental inspirational stories. Like I've had quite a decent upbringing, do you know what I mean? Like I can't say I've come from like the slums and all this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've had a nice upbringing, I've been looked after properly by my family and stuff, I've got good friends around me. But then I've always realised that if you flip the coin, there's another side. So not everyone is, only until recently, the world ain't always as bright as it is for other people, do you know what I mean? So I've always thought to myself, like, I've got it tattooed on my arm, if I can do more for other people,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll pay me back in future anyway.
Yeah.
So like, just by reaching out or whatever and just saying,
Yeah.
look, I can offer some help, do you know what I mean? Literally for nothing, it cost me
Yeah.
nothing to leave my gym or whatever and say, look, George, just come in and we'll say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes me get up in the day. As cringy as it sounds, like I like waking up going, Joe, what if I can do one thing for
Yeah.
someone for absolutely nothing for me, then I'll go to bed quite happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's it's a great outlook to have on life, and you've obviously helped a few people because we've discussed this when I've been to the gym with you. That you obviously enjoy and you get that fulfillment from helping people, which is really nice. So you said that you had like a really good upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, where did you grow up?
So I was born in Farnborough Hospital in Bromley, London.
Yeah.
And then I lived there for 15, 16 years. And then my dad, I come from like proper standard South East London family, so like just head down, arse up type
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My dad was a pipe fitter, so he would go and fit like the sprinkler systems in like the underground and stuff. So like nothing luxurious. My mum's always worked in for like the NHS and stuff, so just
Yeah.
proper standard British family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like normal working day jobs. And then my old man, it must have been when I was about 14, 15, started to like really get his head down and basically build like a proper path for himself. And then he got a job opportunity in Whitstable, and obviously I was like, I've only ever been to Camp Sands on holiday, so I don't know where Whitstable is. Do you know what I mean? Then we moved down to Whitstable, and then that's basically when my mum would agree. That's basically where our lives like properly started.
Yeah.
Because obviously we grew up in not a bad area, but it weren't getting any better every weekend. You'd hear something a bit different.
Yeah.
I guess I just moved down to Whitstable and stuff. The old man got a really really big job for a massive company. Started doing really well for himself, and then just basically spent the second half of my life in Whitstable, and then I recently moved to Margate a year ago with the missus.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's nice. And your outlook towards different things, did that stem from school? Did it stem from when you left and started working? Like, because you've been a PT since you left school, right?
Yeah, man.
Or you've been in the gym industry?
Yeah, so I got qualified when I was 18. So I
Yeah.
moved to Brighton for a couple of months. I lived in a caravan in Brighton for a couple of months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to get qualified because
Yeah.
I put all my eggs in one basket, really, like financially.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 18 years old, you ain't got any money, have you? So
Nah.
I just put all my money into my course, and then I think I lived in a caravan in Brighton on a caravan site, which is like 2 miles out of Brighton Central.
Yeah.
And I had to ride my bike into Brighton Central to get qualified, and it was like 2 miles in, 2 miles back. And I did
Yeah.
through, and that year it snowed proper heavy, so I used to come off my bike most days.
Yeah,
and I'd
yeah.
come into into college or whatever,
Yeah.
looking like a right idiot. But yeah, so I got qualified when I was 18 years old, and I'm 28 now, so I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'll probably never do anything else.
That's mad at at the age of 18 that you were still prepared to like move away, do what you wanted to do, where 17, 18 for us was spending all of our money in casino rooms. Casino rooms, tapping in, something like that around
I still
here.
had fun.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I definitely still had fun. I was, at the time I was like into bodybuilding like the other
Yeah.
typical knobs in fitness industry. 18 years old, just trying to be as big as I could. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Bright blonde hair. I had a good time for a couple of
Yeah.
years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of just knew what I wanted to do. I basically played football for a bit. Wasn't particularly great at football, but was okay.
Yeah.
Tore my right ACL, so I snapped my cruciate ligament, and then obviously I couldn't do nothing. So I was doing that alongside like my boxing at the time.
Yeah.
And then I basically like fell in love with this girl who was like 19 years old and a PT. I didn't fall in love with her in like a physical sense, but
Yeah.
I think when I was like 19, I think now looking back on it, I probably experienced like a dip in my mental health
Yeah.
because I was like, always doing something and then I couldn't do anything. And
Yeah.
then she pulled me out of a hole, helped me with all my physio, got me back to basically like fighting fit and stuff, playing football, doing whatever I wanted. And then I was like, well, that's what I want to do for other people.
Yeah.
And it just clicked in my head. I was like, I've literally like I put all my faith in this person. I
Yeah.
have no idea who they are. And then like my recovery time was back then was supposed to be like a year, and in 9 months I was boxing again.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was amazing for me. It was amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Still,
if you...
still in contact with her now as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's I was going to say that from being a PT and that obviously being an industry of helping others, it's possibly where your love for helping people comes from, I guess.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I do think like especially now, the industry's changed a fair bit. You can get qualified in 6 weeks.
Right.
Like it's rapid. Like kids see some geezer shredded on Instagram with an 8-pack, and they're like,
Yeah.
right. They think, I'm just going to train fit birds and do whatever. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like outside looking in, that is a massive part of the job role.
Yeah.
But it's not what I don't think it's what the industry's built on. I think the industry's built on helping the average Joe.
Yeah, we.
Typical
Shout
pun.
outs.
Yeah, I know. Don't get him on again. But like, you know what I mean? I always say to them, like, I used to have it on my Instagram bio on my business cards. I like to train the everyday athlete.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm talking like your mums,
Yeah.
like your dads who've got like 2 jobs who are trying to make ends
Yeah.
meet, who have no time but are trying to make an effort and get
Yeah.
themselves healthy and stuff. Like, they're my bread and butter.
Your
So I like,
commuters.
yeah, absolutely. Just everyone who doesn't have time to train.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's like where I've earned my money. So,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love it. I've been there
Yeah.
for 10 years, mate. I will literally have hundreds. So
And is it so? What's the future plans with that? Because obviously you're now a general manager of
yes, mate. Yeah.
the gym group.
Yeah, general manager of the gym group.
Yeah.
I run the Ashford branch. I did run Thanet. There's a new one opening up, undisclosed location.
Yeah.
Here, near Medway.
Yeah.
So it'll be over this way,
Okay, cool.
which is cool. And I should be going to run that one hopefully. I've just chucked a few quid into a private setup at home.
Yeah.
So I've literally just spent X, Y, Z on basically a PC studio that I want to be able to run
Yeah.
from home. The pandemic hit me like a train because
Yeah.
obviously I can't go to gyms and stuff. No one wants to come to me or whatever. So I want to future-proof my business a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I had a bit of a headache with that. And then I've got a few other little things in the pipeline,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
you know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is just like slowly but surely getting off the ground and stuff. So
Is that
yeah.
something that we can talk about today, or are
yeah,
we
of course
keeping
you
that
can.
under
Yeah,
wraps?
no, it's fine.
Because you are a sponsor of the Van Project.
Well, exactly, yeah.
So if you want to go into
Yeah.
what is going to be Problem.
So I'm starting a clothing brand called Problem. It ties into the old man quite well.
Yeah.
So like, it will be basically a fashion brand that I'm not too far away from getting like my first.
Yeah.
I feel cringy saying it because this is so new to me, but like first season out there. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just starting off with like accessories. Obviously, I had this conversation with you. But like the way I'm going to basically run half of the clothing brand is that I'll do like one-off sort of like collections, but all the proceeds will go to like charities that have hit people like me and stuff and so on. Obviously, like people who've been affected by like comments to the podcast and whatnot. So I'll do like problem solved, and then like obviously the solved will be like the colouring of the chosen charity. So like the first one will be purple, which will be for dad and stuff for pancreatic cancer. So yeah, I've just been getting my head down with that really. Probably about 2 months before my dad died, I started it, and now like it's a bit nerve wracking because I'm putting money down, so obviously trying to get it off the floor. But yeah, it should be quite cool.
Yeah, no, it's it sounds like it's going to be an exciting project, especially with what like the underlying, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the morals of it, the
message.
Yeah, like the message behind it, and the values of it. Like where that's going to go. It's an exciting thing, and you know, like I don't have like tons of knowledge, but I've started building knowledge, and if you ever need help with that, then you know, you can come and talk to me. But so I mean, that does lead obviously on to your dad.
Yeah.
He died 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it.
So I can
Pancreatic,
never say that word. But so he had cancer and he passed that. And how long was he fighting that for?
So he got diagnosed in November. So late November. Essentially, I had a phone call from my old man, just saying I need you home at 5 o'clock today. Like I've got to have a little bit of a family conference. And you know, it's like you don't hear from people. Like I never hear from I would call my dad every single day, and we would chat rubbish about football, women, drugs, cars. Do you know what I mean? Just chuck it in there. He was a proper geezer, so like we would talk about absolutely everything. And for him to say to me, "I need you to get your mum and your sister home, no matter what, at 5 o'clock today," I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. He walked in, and I knew. It sounds mental, but like that day, he walked in and he looked awful. And that was only in November. And obviously he was fighting it for 6 months. So it's quite quick.
Yeah, so what, before November when he'd been diagnosed with it, did they say like roughly how long he'd actually been suffering with it? Because he was obviously a hard-working man. Yeah,
so weirdly enough, this is a bit of a long story, but I'll cut it short.
No, that's fine.
During the pandemic, my dad got COVID, and then he got double COVID, pneumonia. And then at 3 a.m. one morning, I had a phone call, and all I could hear was like the breathalyzer machines in the background. And it was from my dad, and like every other word, like you couldn't make out what he was saying because like, of like the rise and fall of the machine helping him breathe. And we got called. Like my dad was like, "I'm making my final call to you now. Like I'm gonna die."
Wow.
Bear in mind, like 2 days ago, he was just in a building site in London doing a normal job that he would always do. And he just he literally was like, "Sam, I've been told I'm not gonna make it." And I was like, your brain was like, obviously just my world. So my dad was literally my best mate, so my world come down. My mum's crying her eyes out. I was in bed with my missus, and she like woke me up, and like I took the phone call, and then didn't hear anything for like a day. And I was like, do you know what I mean? You don't know. I'm like, well, I can't get hold of him because obviously he's not on his phone.
Yeah.
2 days after that, get a phone call. This time it's from my mum because I was. I think my mum, obviously where she works in the NHS, she was trying to get hold of a few people to understand what was going on.
Yeah. Did you know where he was?
He was in Kings in London at the time, and obviously he got.
And because it was COVID, you can't go.
At the time, couldn't even travel.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was all a bit of a whirlwind for a couple 24 hours or whatever. I think it was like the second or third day after my dad called me. I think I could get a phone call from a nurse, and she literally was just like, "Your dad's improved a lot. We've tried something new on him, and he's going to make a recovery." And I just remember, like, sounds weird, but just going numb. Because I'm like, 2 days ago, my own dad was literally on the phone. He's like, "Sam, I ain't going to make it." And he literally was like, word for word, he was like, "I've been told to make this as my last call." So it sounds awful, but when my dad passed away, obviously recently, it hit me way harder than I thought it was going to, because I kind of thought I'd had that wobble with my parents. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad was like going to die a year ago, or it was literally almost pretty much a year to like the day almost that when he got diagnosed with cancer, he literally like walked out of the COVID ward. But then I did like all of his therapy with him. So my sister's a personal trainer as well. She's awesome, to be fair. So between me and her, we basically like wrapped our brains together to make a plan for my dad. So I'd meet him on like at Herne Bay, and because it's weird, he has to go through a time where he had to incubate himself. So like we have 2 dogs at home, 2 staffs. No dog hairs allowed near him. Can't go on a building site because of dust. He was that vulnerable and volatile that if anything affected him, he would gone. So he had to have like an oxygen tank like looking after him. My dad was like professional footballer when he was younger. To play for Brighton and stuff. Played against like Vinnie Jones and all the rest of it. Like my dad was a proper good footballer. I played like over 1,000 games of football, so he was super fit.
Yeah.
He carried a bit of timber, but he was still stupidly strong man, stupidly fit.
Yeah.
So to go through all of that with him, like with COVID, like I'd meet him at Herne Bay. We'd go for like, I don't know, between here to the end of the garden and back, and then that would be it for the day. He would not be able to move. So I got him from that to then running like 5K with me pretty much.
Yeah.
Over a space of a year,
Wow.
got him back to really fit. And then about a month later, he was like, right, I'm fully back into work. My dad runs his own business, or did. And he was really successful and stuff, so he started doing really well. And then, just that day he come home, I'll never forget it. He just looked yellow, obviously, just big sign, obviously, when you're poorly, and that was it.
It's crazy to even like think you'd got him from walking to running to then him still being ill.
Yeah. Like, he used to literally, like, put his hands on my shoulders to walk 50 metres. Like, to literally... So, like, we've always said, was he, like, double poorly whilst fighting COVID? And then was that kind of the nail in the coffin where it may have sped his body up because his body was just fighting against something already?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's just impossible to know. We will never know how far or how long it was in his system before he obviously passed away. So yeah, but obviously when they, I think I might butcher this. So if someone obviously on social media hammers me, I'm sorry. But I'm sure I think it's like 4 stages to cancer.
Right.
And he was at literally like stage 4.
Right.
And so he went straight in from where he was basically into like the strongest legal dose that anyone can have for chemo. So he went in from nothing to like literally like 2 days later. It was like, you basically
This is your only chance.
you got to give it a go, or that's it. And they was like, we legally can't give you any more. So he was like, my dad's true. My dad was tough as they come, mate. So he was like, yeah, cool, give it to me. And I think he was 100. So before he started, he was 118 kilos, and then about a week before he died, he was like 89.
It's just
so he just went, oh mate, my dad was a big man. Yeah, like I've always like prided myself on being quite a big lad or whatever, but to see him that thin, like it's heartbreaking.
What? Trying to think of the ways, like, not how did that make you feel, because it's not you at that time. You're not going to be thinking about how you feel, because you're not going to be worried about that, are you? Because you're going to just be like, right, I need to do this for Dad. But what does that do to you? Like watching him deteriorate.
It's a tough one, George, because I think because obviously the nature of my job, I see people go up and down for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So I've had, like, as an example, I had my first ever client I had, like, I had a proper moody client for my first client. My first client I ever had was Holly. She was 17 years old. I'll never forget, this was 10 years ago. Never forget her. She was, she literally was just about able to walk after battling bulimia and anorexia. Almost lost her life twice. So she was 39 kilos at 5'8". Like, I can't even put into words how tiny this girl was, mate. And as a young lad, every coach in that gym was like, do not touch her, because you haven't even like cut your teeth yet. And I was just like, I just knew, I was like, no, I can help her.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I can. So like I went on a massive journey with her. I think I ended up putting on like 25 kilos onto her, got her signed off from the doctor. I had an amazing journey with her. So I've had a taste of like seeing what it's like on the other side.
Yeah.
Then I've had clients who have come into me and have been like 140 kilos. Like I hate the term from a doctor saying like medically obese or whatever, and I've got them down to run like marathons and stuff and like under 100. So I've got off like a third of their body weight. I've been doing this 10 years. I'd say I'm alright at my job now. So I understand what bodies look like when they go through like a little bit of rough and tumble. So
Yeah.
to see Dad go through it, I guess. I mean, this is a bit deep, but I have a lasting image of my dad at the moment, of him before he died. Not all the beautiful memories I have of him.
Yeah.
Where he was a big, strong alpha male. I just see him as a very smaller, frail man at the moment. Obviously, it's just in the back of my brain. So watching him go to like as small as he was, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's damaged me a little bit because I've always seen him to be such a big, strong, powerful man. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I think it's just stuck with me.
I just wondered whether, like, if the impact is harder knowing that you can help so many people, but in this instant you couldn't, and like I just wonder like how, if that is
does it make you feel helpless? That's literally what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You've seen your dad, you got him to a healthier stage after COVID. And obviously you've just been dealt with that blow as a family, and there's nothing you can do. Do you know what I mean? In the sense of what you can physically do.
It's a tough one because obviously, like I touched on earlier, so my sister and I do the same job. Do you know what I mean? She came into the industry maybe like halfway through my career. Best thing she ever did. She's fucking brilliant. And one night we sat there on the sofa because it wasn't just so like there's a bit that I'll get to in obviously in a little while.
Yeah.
But we'd like sat there and was like trying to devise all these plans and stuff. It was like, right, what diet does it? What foods does he need to eliminate to help him with his chemo to help promote better quality of life in his pancreas and stuff. I was up at like I probably didn't sleep for like a month just trying to research everything, and day by day seeing him, I was like, I'm fucking losing. And like you said, like I always put other people first because it's for a reason. Because I'm like, I know they need help, and I know I can help them. If I'm like not fit to do something, I've referred so many clients who have come to me who I know like financially would be amazing for me, like 4 sessions a week or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is great money for me or whatever, but I'm like, I can't help them. I'm not a kid. Like I understand. Like if they're gonna, we all know the cost of living and stuff. So I'm like, if someone comes to me with essentially £400 a month to throw at them getting healthier, but I'm physically not capable, I'm not gonna fill my water to take it out of someone else's. Do you know what I mean? I'll go, right, I know the best coach for you. Go and see them. When it's your old man, I'd spend the rest of my life now if I could have another week with him, knowing that I could get him healthier.
Yeah.
Like if I had to spend 10 years of my life studying to make sure that I could give him 10 years of health, I'd do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's overwhelming. It's massively overwhelming knowing that you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And you're literally just having to sit there and watch it.
Yeah, that's incredibly hard to take, especially when you know you can help people and it's somebody so close that you can't help, but you're just trying everything you can and just not seeing the results. Yeah,
I mean, my sister and I were joking about this the other day. Obviously, it's been a little bit of time since he's passed and whatnot. And we're like, everyone's had that client who's just a bit moody to try and get on well with and stuff. You can't build a rapport with them. You try everything and it's just not getting through. And you're just like, do you know what? I might have to say to them, look, you may need another coach because I'm actually failing you. I've only ever done it with one client, so I say that, but that's my old man because I couldn't win. So yeah, it's proper dented me. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I've lost my record on that one. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You say your dad was your best friend. What has that done to you? Losing him, like taking all the job aspect away and everything that you tried to do, like what impact? Because I was amazed when over a month. So your dad passed. It was 2 months ago the other day, wasn't it?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
And probably about 5 weeks ago we started at the gym together.
Yeah.
And you told me that he recently passed, and I was amazed to see you at work being positive, still trying to help other people, and meeting you, I would have never known that probably inside you're hurting.
It's a tough one. I'm very much like my old man, just a bit of a workaholic. I've lost like friends and relationships because of it, because I just get my head down. It's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
There must be something wrong with my brain. I just like being busy. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's who I am. So yeah, this is where it just hurts me a little bit, because so I had to take 2 weeks bereavement for work, but I took my 2 weeks bereavement to go for 24/7 care for my dad, and he was alive for 11 of those days, and I had to go back to work on the 15th day, and so my mum, my sister and I had the bulk of the job, because obviously it's man to man. You have to deal with obviously a man's issues and whatnot.
Yeah.
And obviously the sheer size of the man, my mum and my sister ain't capable of doing as much as what I could have done. As much, they did a sterling job. I won't say they didn't, because they did a fucking amazing job. You know, I spent essentially almost 11 and a half days, almost 12 days out of my 14 days, 24/7 care, washing him, feeding him, sitting in the room, falling asleep, standing up, watching him so he don't roll out of bed or whatever. Excuse me. He didn't want to go to a hospice, and I was never going to put him in there. No fucking way. You know, if someone says they don't want to go in, they don't go in. As much as we were advised, it gets, like with the cancer he has, it gets tough. We would advise you probably to go into a hospice, because you've got 24/7 care of trained people to do it. I promised my best mate I weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, there were times in there when my dad's asking me questions and he doesn't know my name. And looking at someone you value so dearly, it murders me. Sorry, it's tough, man. It's tough, because when you care about someone so much, and they're not just your dad, they're like your best mate on the whole planet. Watching someone go through that is awful, because I can't do nothing about it. So, me and him used to have a laugh. Like, my dad started to hallucinate towards the end, obviously where the cancer moves up through the body. So he would think there's like cobwebs in the room, and I'm like, no, Dad, there's nothing here. And he was adamant. So I used to like go on my hands and knees for him and take the cobwebs out of the way. There's nothing there. And we'd be walking to the toilet. He's like, where are we going? And I'm like, perhaps, it's time to go for a wee, mate. Like, we've got to do what we've got to do.
Yeah.
And I'd have to help him do all of it.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no, I don't want to go. And then there'll be times where he's gone. So you're like, shit. So I've got to get on top of that. Yeah. And then there's one time in particular, like when I looked after him, I think my mum had a moment with him, my sister did, and I did. And it breaks me.
Just take your time, mate.
There was one time, silly old git. There was one time when he was like stroking my hair, and he was like calling me his beautiful boy, and it made me feel like I was 6 years old. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, this has been a while, because 2 days before that I couldn't get anything out of him, and I had a bit of a wobble with that, a bit like now, composure.
That's all right.
And it was just humbling, because I'm like, for that 10 seconds, I felt like the luckiest man in the world. And then straight after that, he was like, can you get my son for me? The average person has no idea how that feels.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, literally, it was like I was sat in his lap at 6 years old. And then, I'm not even joking, probably 10 seconds later, he's saying to me, he's like, can you go and get my boy for me? And then my mum was like, come in the room at the time, and she looked at me and she was just like, it just broke my mum. Yeah, it's quite heavy to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
I'm just like, I can't even really like process or comprehend that. Like, it's really like, I don't even have words.
No, I don't know what to say.
I can see, and do you know what I can tell as well? Like, so the question that I asked you at the beginning of that was, how are you processing and dealing with it? And again, from your nature, you didn't talk about yourself once.
No, I struggle. I've always struggled putting myself first, massively. I don't know. I'm not really a selfish person. I always believe like I can always do something for someone else.
Yeah.
I think my dad was literally exactly the same. Like, we don't come from a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? We come from a typical British working class family. And I watched my dad before he passed away, bought his dream car, bought the watch he's always wanted since I was born. I've always heard him talk about, Sam, everyone where we come from, my dad used to call me Knob, and he was like, Nobby, everywhere we come from, mate, He's like, there's 2 things I want in this life, and he was like, I don't give a fuck until I get them.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, and he was like, I want a Range Rover. He's like, 'cause
Yeah.
I can't afford one. He's like, and I want a rollie on my wrist. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right. And then I'll never forget when I was like, must have been like, I don't know, like 9 or something. And he was like, I'll never be able to afford to do it. And then my mum was amazing for my old man. Proper Morecambe and Wise duo, those two. They were rock and roll, mate. So my mum was always like, no, Baz, you'll get it. And my dad's name was Baz. Yeah, and it's funny the way life works. About 3 years ago, he got his watch, and about 2 years ago, just maybe 6 months before he got COVID, he managed to get his dream car. So he picked off 2 of his bucket list, which is cool. But there's a comment from my old man that will stick with me for the rest of my life, and I've never laughed so much ever. And he was sat there. We were drunk around the dining room table because I'd moved out at this point. My sister lived around the corner, and we come home for dinner. And my dad was shouting at my mum. He's going, Sal, what's the fucking time? And then my mum's like flashed back straight at him. She's like, why are you fucking asking all of us with a Rolex on your wrist, like, you arsehole? Like, thinking he was being flash. Yeah. And then he was like, I've spent all my life trying to bowl on these things. My fucking eyesight's gone. And I just burst out dying. I was thought to myself, I was like, but it's funny how life works, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's grafted his whole life to get something. And then he literally said, he's like, Sammy, what time is it? It's like, I honestly can't read it. He's like, where's my bins? So it's glasses. And I'm like, you're such a prick.
He sounds like a proper geezer.
Oh, mate, he's a beautiful individual, that boy.
Yeah.
As much as he was a bit of a wanky, he was a beautiful man. Yeah, he was a good boy. Yeah, he was cool.
Thank you for sharing that with us, because that was obviously hard to do. And I think it's an unfortunate thing that it's something that everyone's going to go through. And, and when you told me about it, it really hit home, because we're the same age and our dads are the same age.
Yeah.
So like I instantly put myself in your shoes, and I could not deal with it the same way that you are. Whether obviously you're not putting on a show. Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are putting your wall up for people around you.
Yeah, the girls especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, the girls especially, because I've always tried to take kind of like, if I've ever felt a bit down or whatever, I've always kind of like tried to take myself away from the girls. I don't want them to see me down. I've always been like my dad, do you know what I mean? I've always been like the family brick wall.
Yeah.
I don't really want them to see me struggling, which is probably why I tried to tap myself straight back into work. Cause I thought, I can cry in my office and shut my own door, do you know what I mean? But I haven't got to worry about my mum and my sister walking in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's no like facade from my point, do you know what I mean? I am just trying to get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, I have seeked help and stuff. I've got some good mates wrapped around me. Do you know what I mean? Ever since I spoke to you and stuff, it's really helped, like, genuinely.
Good support network around you.
Yeah, massively. I've got some amazing friends near me. I work with a lad called Matt. He is a qualified counsellor. He's helped me more than I could probably ever repay him, to be honest. I've got some really good mates around me, especially at work and stuff, like you know, like my boys who I grew up with and whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Luke at Alpha.
Yeah.
Just I've got some really, really good mates around me who really have helped me out. I realised that when I was going through it, I felt like a bit of a burden talking to people. Do you know what I mean?
You almost feel like people like don't want to listen to what you've got
going
on.
They're like, why? And I'm like, your shit is not as important as other people's stuff. So I'm like, Sam, shut up. But then I find myself talking about it all the time, and I keep things. I used to apologise to people all the time, and people look at me like I was like an alien.
Yeah.
Like, mate, you're allowed to feel crap. And like I'd be having like normal conversation right now. Excuse me. I'd have like a normal conversation now, like no dramas, and then the waterworks will just turn on.
Yeah.
And your brain's like, oh crap, and you just can't stop it.
Yeah.
Like now I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I talk about it, it still hurts me like anything, but you know, you just bite down your gum shit a little bit, then you get on with it. So, yeah.
No, that's it. Well, that was like it's brave enough for a man of your caliber in terms of being like your dad and just, like, say, biting down on the gum shield and just cracking on, to then coming on a platform and being able to, like, open up and speak to us on this level, because I think like a father-son relationship is often like no others. Like if you are fortunate enough to have that relationship with your dad, like you clearly were, it just like hits 10 times harder when you go through something like you're going through.
100%. I do find, like, I think my missus has struggled to kind of, she won't mind me saying this, like, has like struggled to kind of understand it from my eyes, and I've always said to her, I don't want you to.
Yeah.
I never want you to have to understand what I'm going through. And then I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, there are kids out there who lose their parents, you know, crazy young.
Yeah.
Or parents lose their kids, you know, from birth or whatever. Like, there's tons of people I follow on social media who I find like who are, you know, super influential to my life and stuff, and I always see them cracking on. So I'm like, well, you know, different way of looking at things, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's not easy. The one thing I think I struggle with the most is that I can't pick up the phone. I physically can't pick up the phone and talk to my old man. I used to do it every single day. Like, people used to think like bloody hell, mate, you and your old man are a bit like bit weird, because we'd always talk to each other. But my dad was my best mate, so like
I get
we'd talk about boxing for like 3 hours on the way home from work. Do you know what I mean? And just do normal stuff, and to not have that outlet anymore is probably where I think that's my biggest struggle.
Yeah, no, I do get that, because I don't like speak on the phone with my old man every day, but I speak to my mum every day on the phone.
Yeah,
I'm a proper mama's boy.
Yeah, good.
And like, I'll 9 times out of 10 phone her on my way to work. I'm normally driving home a bit too late to be able to ring her, but I'll always speak to her every day without fail. And if I couldn't do that anymore, that would just break my heart.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even talk about anything. Like, me and my old man, like, I used to hear him argue in traffic.
Yeah.
And I used to, like, my old man has a proper temper. It's like effing and blinding. I could just imagine him with his like stupid ginger forearm outside the truck or whatever, just shouting at some geezer in London as he's trying to get to work. And I used to think that'd do me for 5 minutes. And then I'd like have a word with my mum or whatever. My mum's like issues are like so different to my old man's or whatever. But like, it's just hard now because it's like it's just me and the girls. So I'm like, I just don't have that kind of like male companion of like of going through it. My sister's fella Ali, he's a good boy. He lost his dad about 8 years ago. He's a bit older than me.
Yeah.
And like,
have you been able to talk to him?
Yeah,
about
massively.
That's nice that you can do that with him.
And I've got like another lad, Harold, at work and stuff. Like, I got like, a massive relationship with him. He lost his dad when he was young. So like, it's only when you start talking about it you realise problems are so much more frequent.
Yeah.
And that's why like all like the charity stuff, and I'm trying to do as much as I can. So people do actually help out. Like, obviously when I messaged you, and I was just like, why are you struggling?
Yeah. Like,
I know a lot of people like will go, oh, it's going to cost me time and money, but when you mature a little bit, you grow up and you go, actually, my energy putting into you might make your week 10% better.
Yeah.
Well, that's 10%. So why wouldn't you try and reach out and help?
Of course.
So like, everyone around me's been it's been phenomenal. To be fair.
It's amazing.
Can't fault them.
Just as you just touched on there about the like fundraising and stuff that you want to do. Do you want to talk about what you are doing September the 1st?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah,
Let
the
viewers
more I talk
know.
about it, the more I realise what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, essentially, I am going to run from my house in Margate to my gym in Ashford, which is 50 kilometres. So it's an ultra marathon. I'm then going to do a 4-day shift at work and then run home. So it's 2 ultra marathons in a day.
Josh's face has said it all.
I don't really run either, so it's a bit moody. But to be fair, every challenge I've like set out to do, I say I don't run. I've done a few challenges. Like so my mate Matt, obviously, who I was chatting about earlier, I did like a really hard challenge with him. So we did it in lockdown. And we had to like sign on to like prove that we did it. You had to run 4 miles every 4 hours for 2 days. So the first one was at midnight, 4 a.m., 8, 12 for 2 days. And then all you get is like a little like t-shirt. And you've done it. And I'm like, I've probably lost like at least a year on both kneecaps. So I'm like, this is moved. So man. So I've done that. I run London Marathon with my sister a long time ago. Massive achievement. She did really well on that. See, I give up the impression, like I can do a lot of stuff. I normally just like, I know we're joking earlier, like, I normally just send it, mate. I'm just like, do you know what? I'll just write it down.
That's how Josh lives.
I was going to say, like,
send it.
Yeah, just send it. Do you know what I mean? Just put my name down, and here we are. So I thought to myself, I was like, right, if I run to work, I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't think it's impressive enough.
Yeah.
So I thought if I leave my house at 10, so September 1st at 10 p.m. I'm going to leave my house in Margate.
Yeah.
The only route that you can get to Canterbury without really making it stupid is essentially the way you would drive through Thanet, through Canterbury, literally,
wow.
and then through the woods and stuff. So I just thought to myself, I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just try. So I'll leave my house 10 p.m. Thursday night, and then I'll probably just meet some like friends and my sister, whatever, halfway in Canterbury, get like some refuel and stuff, and keep going, and then hopefully get my normal shift on a Friday morning at work 6 a.m. start. So I will hopefully have 8-hour window, and the average it takes to run/walk it's 9.5. So I'm already taking a piss, trying to go a little bit quicker. But I'm like, right, if I just try and get a move on, then I'll do that. I'll just eat as much pizza as I can during the day at work, and then just turn around and run home at 2 o'clock and just try and get home before midnight.
That's
which is a bit
well,
mental,
you got our backing, and we'll
appreciate that, boys.
We'll be supporting from wherever we are. So.
We'll come do the last mile with me, lads, if you fancy it.
I think Harry will probably be up for that. Yeah, last mile.
I've had a load of people say they want to come do like the last mile, and I just think like as a visual, it will look sick.
Yeah.
But like, I announced it yesterday.
Yeah. And
my target's $5,000. So I've been doing some research. $5,000 goes a long way. In the chosen charity, obviously pancreatic cancer. Yeah. And I raised 900 quid, or just under 900 quid yesterday. Yeah. So I'm like, I've got a month to get. To start training, which is stupid.
So viewers, we are going to put the link to your Just Giving page in the bio. Cheers, if you can, go down, donate whatever you can, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, whatever you can, just go and donate it, because it's all for a great cause.
Yeah, appreciate that.
But yeah, I think that is a great thing that you're doing, and that's, the whole time your dad will be there with you, pushing you along, and it will be grueling but worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
worth it.
At the end of the day, like, the one thing I will say, like, everyone says to me, like, at the end of the day, like, Sam, you've got no time to prepare for it. You're a bit stupid thinking you can complete it. And I was like, my dad woke up one day and got told he had cancer, and he's going to die. Where's his preparation? Yeah. Where's Betty round the corner getting told that her kid's got cancer? Yeah. No one prepares you for this shit. So I'm like, I've got 4 weeks. I'll run a couple of times before then. Yeah. I probably won't because I'm an idiot, but then it will just, just wake up and just try and do it. Yeah. So, yeah, but no, I appreciate it.
Well, you got the best kind of motivation behind you to get to do it.
Oh, I'll finish it. Yeah. It'll kill me, but I'll finish it, yeah.
No, it's amazing. I think that's a great way to round up the pod. Should we go into a couple of questions like we usually do? We are losing daylight quick.
Yeah, we are losing daylight. So it's not so much of a question, it's more like of an observation in the sense of, we've done a few of these podcasts now with guests, and it seems to be like a repetitive, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, it seems like a
occurrence?
Yeah, where men seem to only really break that stigma of being able to open up when it's to do with grief or loss. That seems to be the breaking point. Yeah. Like, we've done it with me, with my Uncle Ray. Yeah. Yourself with your dad. Ben last week with his partner. You know, like, who else have we had on? We've had
Alex.
Yeah, like, it seems to be like that. That seems to be the breaking point when, because I found from my own experiences, like very much like yourself, like, you don't really express, because I had a lot of female family members, so you try and carry the burden for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Take it away. So, but ultimately, like, I end up having a little mini mental breakdown, as you know, and it just seems to get. It seems to be, in my personal observation, that it's just. Again, this is why we're doing the podcast, to break that stigma, so men can just open up, so it doesn't feel like such a burden when we have to go through these things, you know.
Yeah.
Like when you were telling me that story, this is the first time I've ever met you. I've been super quiet for the whole thing. I can't lie, I've been holding back the tears because I can only put myself in your situation, or I think of my kids when I'm older, and I don't want them to go through.
Yeah, exactly.
But my heart genuinely breaks for you and your family, you know, and it's just. Now George was kissing your ass at the start of the podcast. I'll kiss your ass at the end. But no, it's just. Massive admiration to yourself. Mate.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, it's a genuine pleasure to have met you today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Just one question I want to round it up on, because it might be nice for you to think of this. Is that if you could have one more day with your dad, what would it look like?
It's killed me. One more day.
What would be the day that you would have with your dad?
It's absolutely murdered me.
Sorry.
I think about this a lot.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I apologise.
That's all right.
Wow. This is probably upset a few people on the internet, but we're like die-hard Chelsea fans, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm going to leave this podcast.
Yeah, cheers, Harry. No. I think, yeah, man, like pie and mash. Just before my dad died, my dad's always taken me to Chelsea because I've always been trying to like save for my house or do whatever. Not had too much walking around money. I have, but my dad's always been like quite hard on me, so I've always made sure I've put it away to other things. And I managed to treat him. We went to like the Chelsea hotel. We watched Chelsea play. We won, thank God. And we had like a sick time together. So yeah, I'd say pie and mash. Late, maybe like a Wednesday night Champions League.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just a few beers down the Atlas, which is like a local pub to Chelsea. Me and my dad used to love it in there. We used to get into loads of trouble. Sorry, Mum. But yeah, man, like, that is like my absolute dream.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that, but yeah, like, even it sounds silly, but do you remember like Soccer AM?
Yeah.
Just Mr. Big stuff with my old man, just taking the mickey in the front room, having a bacon sandwich is like my.
Yeah.
I've got so many happy memories of him. And they're starting to come back.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about grief is that it fucking kicks you right in the middle. There's no time to prepare. You know where it's like, obviously when you mention Uncle Ray and stuff, people who you are so dear to you, you only see them if you're unfortunate to go through what I went, where you watch someone deteriorate, you only see their journey right at the end for a long time. And it's only now, occasionally, someone will mention something and it'll bring like a nice memory back in my head.
Yeah.
So that's why that question's like, fuck, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just going to football with him.
Yeah.
And just not worrying about my phone. Do you know what I mean? Just me and the old man just chilling out. Yeah. And like watching him buy like another Chelsea beanie hat, and he's probably got 50 of them at home. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, Sam,
the programme for the match that he's never going to read.
Literally, like, and he'll be like, why are we buying it now? We're grown men. Yeah. Like, when you're 16, it's cool, isn't it? But like, now,
I want to see the team sheet on the back.
literally, it's like, Dad, I've got an app, mate. It's all right. But yeah, man, going to football for sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's a lovely way to round up the pod. Thank you so much for coming on. And,
cheers, it's been a pleasure.
No, it's our pleasure to have all of our guests on, because you're the ones that are living that trauma for us, and we just have so much appreciation, don't we, for all of our guests that come on. So thank you. Like I said, the link for the Just Giving page will be in the bio below, and we just thank you. Like, I think this is going to be one that will hit home with so many people that it just, even if you haven't been through it, I think it will just be just humbling, and just like maybe make people just hug a little tighter.
100%. Like, yeah, if anyone is watching this or whatever, you can DM me at any point. It sounds a bit weird, but do you know what I mean?
We'll pop up your Instagram. What one do you want to put up? Because you've obviously got your PT and your personal. So
yeah, I mean, my name will be in the title when it will be. Yeah, don't really matter.
Chuck that into social media, and you'll find Big Sam on the social medias. But thank you again, and we'll sign out from there.